This podcast contains explicit content and is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Don't say we didn't warn you. Happy Halloween, everyone. My name is Hannah.
And I'm Madison.
And you're listening to Who's Knocking?
A true crime Halloween special episode.
That's right. We are here in our very well thought out and cleverly planned Halloween costumes. If you are watching us on video, this is our first time in our new setup. So here we are.
Welcome to the Due and Improved studio. We're no longer in my closet.
I am an army person.
With a bloody lip.
Yes, I am bleeding.
Very important, integral part of the costume.
Yes, I will be stained tomorrow, but it's worth it.
And I am a witch with bloody tears.
That's a good costume.
I think it's a great costume.
The hat makes it.
These hats are awesome. I think they're so cute.
It really is cute. If you're not watching the video, just watch it for the hat.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into today's episode.
Let's.
We're bringing you something a little bit different today. We're not talking about any murders, no crimes, technically, nothing illegal for the most part. We're talking about McKamey Manor, which is an extreme haunted house, sometimes also known as the torture hotel in the media. Basically it's a haunted house attraction where people go voluntarily to get physically and psychologically tortured.
Cool.
Yeah. Would you go, Madison?
No, I would not. I 1,000% would not. I have to admit, I did watch, like, before we decided that we would make this an episode, I watched there was like a little documentary on it, and I watched it. I cannot fathom of why anybody would want to ever do this, go there.
Agreed.
And it seems like most people don't make it the full allotted time.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
So, I don't know. I do love that there are people in the world who would do this.
Yeah.
I think it shows a big range of interests.
Yeah, it's a sanctioned way, I guess, to get your creepy needs met.
Level. Yeah, I cannot fathom, oops, I hit my mic. I cannot fathom why somebody would want to do that ever.
Yeah, like it's not a regular haunted house. I mean, we're going to get into it, but it's not just like somebody jumps out and scares you. It's literally physical torture.
Yeah, even like, so it's comparable to like a Halloween haunt type of thing. Like, I know here in Ontario, we have a place called Canada's Wonderland, and Canada's Wonderland does a Halloween thing where you can go there and like there's actors who are there who will like scare the shit out of you. I'm not even into that, to be honest.
I'm too scared of that even, but this is like 10 times more. So, okay. I started doing research on it, and there's a lot of information out there, actually, but a lot of it really conflicts. So it's kind of hard to know what's true, what's lies, what really happened, what's alleged. So anything that's like from an article or from a video, I guess we can kind of assume that it's probably fact-checked. The article's probably fact-checked, video's probably legitimate. But any personal accounts will say it's alleged, because who knows?
Yeah, I think everything should be alleged unless there's like definite proof. And I think we'll probably get to speculate a little, which will be fun. But remember, we are not experts by any means. We're just two random people speculating.
Yeah, we don't really know. We just thought it was weird. We thought it was cool. We thought it would be a good Halloween episode. But I did manage to research a few different perspectives that we'll talk about to kind of like round out the whole story of this place. So yeah, I looked into like the YouTube channel, the official YouTube channel, which literally has hundreds of videos, some which are hours long. I did not watch all of them. And I also went on a deep dive on Reddit.
I love when there's a lot of information on Reddit.
There was a lot on Reddit. So
everyone is a detective on Reddit.
Yeah, that's true.
And I say that like with love.
In a good way. Shout out Reddit. So, okay. Rating, scale of 1 to 10. I put it at a 1 just because of the voluntary aspect. No one's technically going there being coerced as far as we know at this point. But I feel like if I was there, it would be very high on the scale. Like I would be terrified.
Yeah. So to me, when I think of the scale, when I rate something, I think about it in like after I hear the story, how much it affects me or like how much I continue to think about it or... You know what I mean? That's like, it's like, how creepy is the story to me?
Yeah. That's like how I still can't go into my basement ever since you told me about Russell Williams. Still can't go down there. let me tell you a bit about McKamey Manor. So I went on their website and their YouTube because I want to see what's the official story. What do they say about themselves?
Okay, already have a question. Whose YouTube channel is it? Is like
their YouTube channel.
So like the manor or the guy?
The guy who runs it, who we will get into both.
Okay, so
it's the guy's channel. There's videos of him, but there's a lot of videos of just like the experience. But I'll play some of the clips for you so you can get a sense of what goes down there. But yeah, on the website, it calls itself the one and only extreme haunted attraction and survival horror challenge. So it's like a challenge that you have to like survive it. Yeah. Explore your fears for horror movie fans seeking a haunted house experience.
It would last 5 seconds.
Yeah. Sounds about right for me too. And we're horror movie fans.
Yeah. Oh, I love that stuff, but I have no interest in anything in a horror movie happening to me.
Agreed. Like, this is kind of like Saw. I'm going to get into it, but I've never even watched Saw, but it kind of seems like that. Saw.
I don't like torture horror stuff. Like,
yeah.
I've never watched Saw.
Me neither. I feel like there's such a line between horror and torture stuff, but this is like really blurring that line. Because it's more on the torture side.
I love that it exists, but I don't love it.
Yeah, I like the idea of it, I guess. So the website lists 2 locations right now: Nashville, Tennessee, Huntsville, Alabama. There's 2.
Oh, so they have 2.
Yeah, there's 2. Allegedly, anyways. I don't know. There's what
do you mean allegedly?
Everything gets questioned. Like, the more I research, the more articles I'd read, it would be like I'll get into it, but at one point he claims to have like an alligator, a caiman, an alligator, and then in the article it's like, yeah, there's no caiman. Like, I don't know. He said he had an alligator.
But how is it like that nobody knows whether or not there's 1 or 2?
I don't know. I'll get into it. Okay. I'm going to tell you like everything I read, but I don't know. There's apparently 2.
Too many questions.
I don't know. Ask away. I'll answer if I know the answer. Okay, so hours open year round, 1 show per week. And then there's like safety requirements. I mean, I don't know how interesting this stuff is, but I kind of thought it was like somewhat interesting. Like you can be 18 if you have parents' consent, but if you're 21 and above, you can just show up or you can just go.
So you need parental consent if you were between 18 and 21?
Yeah. Cool. And you have to pass a background check that's provided by the manor. So they do a background check on you if you can go. You get screened via FaceTime. You have to sign a 40-page waiver. You have to pass a
40
drug
pages?
test. Yeah.
Who is reading 40
There's
pages?
There's a whole bunch of stuff about the waiver. The waiver is so controversial of like what's on it, so I don't want to talk about it. But yeah, so you have to pass a drug test. That information is all on the website. And then it's like, warning and haunt rules. You will experience the following: intense, okay, I guess this isn't even that bad. Intense audio, blah, 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 very real and graphic scenes of horror. Okay, that's actually not even that interesting. Enter at your own risk. Like, it has a bunch of stuff like that. Go at your own risk. Like, photos of people, like, with blindfolds on. Like, that's all over the website.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that they have to, like, say a lot to... Like,
disclaimers.
Like, for their own liability's sake.
Yeah.
So that's fair enough. But 40 pages of waiver?
Just for that reason alone, you won't go.
Who in the hell is reading 40 pages?
And
nobody's reading that.
What does it cover? Okay, so it says, be warned, McKamey Manor, it's not your standard haunted house. This is a participation event. This is from the website. You're going to live your own horror movie. This is a rough, intense, and truly frightening experience. You must be in great health to participate. Last year's haunt was absolutely nothing compared to the new one. So, new for 2020. I guess this is
so they do a
new
one every year? And
I think they're like constantly updating it and changing it.
But they do one per week. So they do the same one like every week or whatever and switch it up every year.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like it's really evolved over time, which I have a bunch of information on that. So, okay, new for 2020, there's an event called Descent. It's the next evolution in interactive survival horror theater. Understand that each tour will be different based on your personal fears, because they interview you about your personal fears to present them to you. And it can last up to 6 hours of your personal fears. Every guest is going to be mentally and physically challenged until you reach your personal breaking point.
That's fun.
Like, that's not a fucking haunted house. You know what I mean?
No, that's like absolute torture.
Yeah, like to your breaking point.
But like,
anyways.
That's the question. Is it torture if you volunteer for it? Like,
I know.
That's the like the found like. What is torture?
Yeah.
If you consent to it, is it torture?
I don't know. I think like, to me, what it kind of seems like is like people might consent to it at first, but then once they are in it, maybe they want to withdraw it, and that's where I feel like the gray area is, because technically, like I read that in Tennessee, there's I forget the word for it, but there's this term, like this aspect of consent where like if you withdraw it, you're allowed to withdraw it. So just because you gave consent doesn't mean it's forever. But anyways, I'll get into it.
But yeah, because you can say like I'm done, and like most people don't make it through.
Yeah, like a safe word kind of thing. Well, we'll get into all of that. All right, so at check-in, you will be required to show your ID, and then there's a waiver process, which is going to last 2 hours. So you have to spend 2 hours like going through the waiver. And okay, yeah, and then it says, think about the average 10 to 20 minute haunt or a theme park. Was it really intensive and scary? Well, at the new McKamey Manor, you will experience thrills that you have never seen before. You will be tested to your very core. If things become too much, you can always quit if we let you.
What?
So that's on the website. Okay, so that was like one page on the website. I went through all of it just because I thought it was interesting. So there's like a bunch of fucking merch. They sell a lot of merch, and their main slogan is, "You really don't want to do this." So they warned you.
It's true.
Okay, yeah. So frequently asked questions. Let me see if there's anything interesting on here. So, okay, I thought this was kind of interesting. So they recommend, like, how many people per group is the question. They recommend Descent, which is the new horror experience. They recommend it as a solo experience, but they can run 2 for the, like, 2 at a time for the 6 hour plus personalized interactive experience. So the new haunt, like the most recent haunt, you go in it alone. Like, it's not even like you're with a friend.
So before, but like, who has a friend that would also be into this? Like, it's such a rare person. I have to assume that would be like down to do this. Like, if I was one of the people who'd be like, oh yeah, this sounds like fun, I want to do it. What friend do I have that's also like that?
Yeah.
Like, what are the odds?
I figured if you're into it, you have friends who are into it.
I guess.
So, kind of interesting, I guess. The question, is there security? Answer, you are being filmed every moment you're at McKamey Manor, and every group is filmed during your tour.
Oh yeah, because he's like super filming. Like,
he's really into filming. Yeah.
Does he like make movies?
Yes, and there's hundreds of videos on the YouTube channel, some of which are hours long.
God.
Yeah.
Are they good?
I mean, I guess that's up to who's watching them, if they're good or not. I'll play you a few of them.
Subjective.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, will the actors touch us, and can we touch the actors? Yes, the actors are going to come into contact with you, but you cannot touch them. So, can we be thrown out of the haunt for any reason? Well, they do not allow any foul language, so no swearing.
What?
No
That's
swearing.
where they draw the line?
You can't fucking swear there.
Oh my God.
No smoking alcohol or drugs. Yeah. So basically, like, there's a bunch of stuff about how you have to be, like, really healthy. You can't go if you have seizures or respiratory conditions or asthma. So I think
that makes sense.
That kind of tracks. No pets. You can't bring pets. Yeah.
Who would be such an asshole to bring their pet?
Yeah, you must hate your pet. Okay, so how to make a reservation. I thought this was kind of interesting. Is there a admission fee? So there's no admission fee, but you can make a voluntary donation. Well, that's, like, they're not making money off this.
Well, I guess he's making content. Does the content make money?
I don't know. I have a feeling that the YouTube videos are not monetized.
That's so interesting because I guess they probably wouldn't be able to be monetized, but I would assume that people would pay a lot of money for this because, like, people pay a lot of money to, like, go to, like, a dominatrix or whatever.
Like, get wax dripped on them and get stepped on and stuff.
Yeah.
This is kind of in line with that, actually.
It is, but this just seems so much more extreme.
Yeah. So, okay, so there's literally links on the website to their YouTube channel videos, as well as they've been featured on some Netflix shows, which I thought was kind of cool. But basically, like, I didn't write it down, but I think there's like 10 pages of videos, and the titles are like, of each page is like, must watch. You really don't want to do this. And like, just like stuff like that. And it's just like 10, like 20 videos per page. I didn't watch all of them, but let me give you a little overview of what I saw in some of them, and then maybe we can watch a couple, maybe just some clips. So he does a bunch, like the guy who runs it does a bunch of promo videos that are kind of like horror movie trailer type things with just like really, it's almost like just like graphics with dramatic music that's like, live your own horror movie and like, can you handle it? Like a bunch of teasers like that. But then there's actually videos of people going through it. So some of the things I've seen, a lot of stuff with people with blindfolds on, like tape blindfolds, it looks like, I don't know, like thick strips of tape.
Like duct tape?
Not duct tape, like colored, but it looks like tape. People are like wearing the blindfolds. There's a light in their face and they're screaming, being like, let me out right now. It looks like there's blood poured on them, but I'm assuming it's fake blood. I don't know where to get like a bucket of blood. There's this one scene where a girl's like dragged into a couch. Like the couch like opens up and she gets dragged into it, which is fucking terrifying. Like she's just sitting on it and then somebody like I guess it's like a trick couch and someone pulls her in. People jumping out in scary masks. That's like typical haunted house, I feel like. But then they grab you and like yell at you. There's like people that are tied to like strapped to a board screaming, like begging to be let go, people eating cockroaches, people throwing up.
Ew.
Yeah. And then so it's weird. It's like some of it, I mean, I shouldn't say it's weird. It's very, very like that goes without saying. Yeah, super normal. But it seems to vary between like scary stuff jumping out at you, and then like gross stuff, you have to eat stuff. There's videos of people just vomiting. There's
that's disgusting.
Yeah, and then the other kind of interesting thing is he makes every person, sorry, I keep saying he, we're going to talk about the guy later, but every person has to do an exit interview. So there's like exit interview videos and people acting like, oh, that was crazy, I can't believe I survived, like whatever, acting really like adrenalized, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's why you do it. It's like the thrill of it.
Yeah, for the thrill, exactly. You're a horror movie fan, you want to be scared, I guess. But so there's that horror stuff, like a lot of those videos that are kind of like horror movie trailers, just like jump cuts to different scary like scenes. And then there's a bunch of like humiliation stuff. So there's a video of a guy with his head covered with like a bag, and they're like, people are around him telling him like, crawl on the ground, get on the ground, and like yelling at him. And then there's a lot of like water stuff, so people with bags over their heads and faces like in water. Yeah, so it's kind of like part of it's horror stuff, part of it's just like torture stuff that's not even necessarily like, it doesn't seem very horror movie-esque. It's just like torture-ish.
Yeah, I guess it depends on like the perspective of the film. Like, is he making a documentary film and showing what these people are going through, or is he like using their experiences going through this house to like make some sort of weird storyline? Like what are his films about?
Yeah, there's a lot of film. So he has a bunch of these videos where he like, okay, so he calls it like McKamey Manor Presents, and then there's one called McKamey Manor Presents Haters the Movie, and he's just calling out people who hate on him, like specific people. Like he's like, fuck you, Danielle, like you're such a fucking bitch. Like he's like calling them out. But then this one video I watched, it was cut in with somebody's exit interview. So it was like him telling this girl, this couple actually, and mainly the girl being like, I told you not to come, you didn't listen. So then he cuts back to himself being like, yeah, you couldn't fucking handle it, Danielle. Like he just, I don't know if that's her name, but anyways. So, but that interview in Haters the Movie, there was this girl and this guy, and they were talking about how like, don't come to this, but we know you're not going to listen to us because they told us not to come to and we still went. So it's like kind of making it seem like it's something that the allure just draws you in despite how everyone says not to go. Anyways, the girl in the video, she looks fine, but she's got like water and fake blood on her. But the guy next to her looks like he's had like a bunch of his hair ripped out, which seems to be a thing there.
He likes to rip hair out. Ew.
Yeah, and she said that, I was fine. This is just them talking, so this specific video doesn't show footage. But she's like, yeah, I was fine until he brought the snake in. Because I said the snake is my biggest fear, so he brought it in. Yeah.
I'm not particularly scared of snakes,
no, we like
obviously,
snakes,
but it's like one of my biggest fears, and yours happens to be as well, is needles. So like, if I said that,
God.
like that's what I have to like assume that it's the equivalent of.
Yeah. And I would never volunteer. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I don't need to face my fear. I'll just be afraid. It's fine.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not signing up for somebody to just give me random needles.
Agreed.
Enough of that going around these days.
That's true. Okay, so, yeah, that was one video. Other people mentioned in some of the videos, they were talking about how they were buried alive. And, yeah, in a wooden coffin. That's something they do there sometimes.
Oh, my God.
I mean, these videos are over years. Like, there's, I think, 7 to 10 years of videos. It's over an extent of time, and the last video was published a year ago.
Being buried alive is so scary. Yeah,
I wouldn't want to do that. And then apparently they also hypnotize people. Somebody said they were hypnotized, so that's another thing, which is more like psychological torture. They were featured on a TV show called Dark Tourist, and basically the promo of it is kind of like, this is like taking a holiday because it's an escape from your boring existence.
So that's who's doing it. People who are bored with their life. Okay.
Yeah.
That
People
makes
are
sense.
bored, I guess, seeking thrills. So, shall I play you some of the videos?
Please.
Here's the most recent video. I actually don't even know what it's going to be on. It's the Desolation, which is the new event trailer. 2.8 million views on YouTube. So,
damn.
Yeah. If he is getting money from it. It's very horror movie.
He's got some sick graphics.
Yeah. He's an artiste.
Yeah, we'll see if we're, oh.
See, there's a lot of videos that are just like, what is this even?
What is that?
I know, you can't really tell what's happening.
Ah!
It's just like creepy imagery.
That looked like an auger going into somebody's mouth.
Yeah. Oh, I'll let you. So people screaming. It's kind of hard to tell. Yeah,
it's like
scary.
hard to watch.
Can you read what that says?
Yeah, it says guests were told numerous times that they should not. Ew! What are they shoving in his mouth?
Yeah, they're shoving something in someone's mouth. Cockroaches, maybe? Book your tour today. Can't wait to go after that.
I feel like I'm gonna go home and like watch a lot of these videos.
There's a lot of there's some extensive videos of people who have gone, which I did watch one of those. So here's one. McKamey Manor presents. It's 20 minutes long, so we can probably skim through it. Exposing hater Danielle. There was aka Dan T.
So it was Danielle.
Like he has these on his YouTube channel.
I really want to like. I watched a video of this guy, but I forget.
Exposing a very intelligent hater, Daniela,
aka Dant.
Alright, so I have to make a movie.
Here's the person who runs it.
Daniela. That's who that was. He's also goes by Dan.
Oh, it's a guy.
I guess.
I'll be nice and not say his whole last name. Although I could. Because when they signed the contract, they state that they're giving me full permission to make movies of their likeness.
Yeah, I guess that's what a lot of the waiver is probably about. Like.
Yeah.
That's part of what you signed. In fact, I'm going to show a little bit of Dan's closing moments at the manor.
We can just watch a little bit of it.
Yeah.
And then what happened, of course, is that he got booted out for doing some real knucklehead stuff within our group. And he's just like the other ones that get booted out, they become obsessed. And then he started in with these major hate groups, the really, really sick ones. Like there's a lot of hate groups, but there's some really sick.
Okay, let me see.
One.
Because this is kind of getting into some other stuff. Like, there's a lot of people who hate it and want to shut it down. But that was just, I thought it was
who want to
funny.
shut down the manor?
Yeah, they think it's really fucked up and bad and whatever. But yeah, there's tons of videos. Most of them are videos like the one I showed you that are kind of like promos. But I just think it's kind of like, it's very like disconnected. Like there's a video exposing haters on the same channel. I don't know, it's strange. But basically like what he's saying in that video was that this guy came out of the experience saying, oh, that was great. And then later he changed the story and was saying like, no, this was really bad and fuck this guy. So
what do we know about that guy? Do we know anything about Danielle?
I did a little bit of research on him. A lot of stuff is alleged. Like a lot of people did interviews exposing him. So I'm going to talk about it. But let me just tell you, okay. So there's this article that was linked on their website. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming they kind of like sanctioned this article. But I thought it was really interesting because I had a lot of details. So I wanted to like kind of read over some of it. It's NashvilleScene.com. The title is Tennessee's McKamey Manor, Torture on Demand by Megan Sealing. So shout out. But basically in the article, it's talking about how every time before Russ Mckamey, he's the guy who runs the, obviously, McKamey Manor, he has to call the cops before because the first week that they were in Tennessee, this article is from 2018. So the first week that they were in Tennessee, the neighbors had to call the police because a woman was being dragged into a van.
Oh my God.
Screaming. But then they said, oh, don't worry, it's consensual. And so the cops left. But now he has an agreement with the authorities. Every time he does a haunt, he's going to call them before.
So is it just like a house in the middle of a neighborhood?
It's in the middle of like a really like proper neighborhood right now.
Imagine you live next door to this.
I know. People want it shut down. People don't like it. It's
I
Tennessee.
understand
it's
why
South.
like being like close by, you'd be like, yeah, I don't enjoy hearing torture.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, here's a funny quote from the article. So, McKamey Manor, extreme haunt, dares adrenaline junkies to subject themselves to the wildest physical and emotional challenges. All it costs for the privilege is one 50-pound bag of dog food, which McKamey, a dog lover, donates to an animal shelter. I like that part.
That's nice, I guess.
Yeah, you don't even have to pay. But I guess you were saying like the content makes money, but it's kind of random that you don't have to pay.
Well,
but
does it make money? I'm curious.
I feel like no.
It has a lot of views,
Yeah.
but like, does YouTube allow
There's no
it?
ad on it, so.
Interesting.
Okay, so this article is talking about this one guy who went to it, 23-year-old Brian Vanover. I mean, his name's in the article, so I guess he's fine with it. He and his wife drove 11 hours to do the challenge, the survival challenge. And apparently, Russ was offering him in 2018 a $20,000 grand prize if he could survive everything. Which is pretty good.
Is that the full 6 hours?
It's the 6 hours.
Damn.
And this is where he's saying, because I guess Russ, the guy, was interviewed in this article, and he was saying, like, well, we've got some caimans, which are alligators, and eels. But then later in the article it says he doesn't actually have any of that stuff. But it's funny because there's the waiver process. So they have to go through this hours-long process of reading this waiver. So it's like, participant fully understands that we're not going to do anything sexual or inappropriate, but everything else imaginable is going to happen. If you agree, if you are selected to visit the barber, quote, then you may leave McKamey Manor completely bald, including your eyebrows. So they might do that.
That's annoying, but it's like doesn't scare
It's not the
me.
worst, I guess. Participant agrees and acknowledges that mouse traps are used on the tour, which may result in bruising or breaking of fingers. You gotta agree to that. There's a lot. It says it takes hours to go through the waiver, including having plastic wrap held tightly over your face, having your hands and feet zip tied. However, everyone gets 2 freebies. So the guy, Vanover, said no tooth pulling and no needles. So we could say no needles.
Fair.
No tooth pulling?
So, like, would they pull people's teeth out?
It's you signed that you could. I don't know if they would, but that's on the waiver.
God.
Yeah. So the reading of the waiver lasted 6 hours. And so that's part of it. Also in this, Vanover, the guy who's in it, is wearing a onesie because everyone at that point has to go through it in an adult onesie. I don't know.
That's so random.
I don't know if that makes it better or worse.
So the reading of the waiver is not part of the 6 hour torture thing.
It's like the
But why did his waiver
preemptive
take
part.
6 hours?
I don't know, because it's so long, I guess.
Maybe he had a lot of questions.
Yeah, maybe. This article talks a bit about the guy, Russ Mckamey, who runs it. So it says, like, he's the star of the show, even behind the camera. He's super charismatic. He's tall, 6'5".
6'5", God.
Yeah, 6'5". He never curses. That's one of his rules. No cursing. At times he is comforting, saying, I'm guaranteeing that you will not be tortured. And at times he's menacing, saying, I can get inside your head. I can make you hallucinate and do all kinds of crazy stuff. And he goes in between those 2 moods with eerie but admittedly entertaining ease. So he's kind of like running the show, I guess.
Well, he seems very theatrical.
Yeah, that's true. He likes all those horror trailers. So
Well, and he's like filming the whole thing, right?
he's filming the whole thing, exactly. So this article is calling him like this charismatic guy that had built thousands of followers and fans all over the world. So yeah, talks a little bit about the town that he's in, Summertown, and how they're all kind of like, get him out of here because we're a sweet little suburban town.
Why would they pick there?
I know. I don't know why. Because he was from San Diego before, which I'll talk about. But anyways, they're in Tennessee now. And then this was kind of interesting. The district attorney was saying that Tennessee is a state where you can, this is what I was talking about. Tennessee is a state where you can withdraw your consent at any time. So even though someone may sign a really long consent form, if they ever indicate that they're withdrawing consent, you have to take it seriously.
Where can you not do that?
I don't know.
That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Like, where, like, is there places in North America, let's just say, where you sign a waiver like this and agree to something.
And if you change your mind,
you can't be like, oh, never mind.
Maybe not. Or maybe there is, because it indicated
Like, I get how you could sign something like that, and it's like whatever footage they've taken of you up to the point where you withdraw consent is like they have that. But that you can't, like, stop what's happening. There's no way.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of the controversy. I'll get more into it with different personal experiences from it. But, yeah. So, they say no one's been injured, but there's a specific story in this article from 2016 from this woman, Laura Hertz Brotherton. I guess, like, she's in the article, so I could say it. So, she had to, before she could get into the actual show, McKamey made her do a bunch of tasks, but they were like homework assignments where she had to complete them to show that she was loyal to McKamey Manor. But it doesn't sound like that weird. Like, she had to do she had to get a tattoo of McKamey Manor. So that's
excessive.
That seems excessive, yeah. The other stuff was like videotape a visit to a Halloween store, so that wasn't that.
But that's like those are two ends of a
I know, she had to get a tattoo.
Spectrum.
It says, McKamey Manor, The Chamber, October 23rd, 2016. Drops of blood are dripping from the script letters. Just like us. So she had to get a tattoo.
Damn.
And then, yeah, which is kind of weird. Like, this guy's telling her that to go to this manor, you have to get a tattoo.
That is more than kind of weird.
It's kind of weird, yeah. I mean, it's very weird. So, and then also, she had to post all these, like, evidence of all these assignments on their Facebook group. Like, there's, like, a McKamey Manor Facebook group.
Okay.
So that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So then, so she goes, and she said, I was waterboarded, I was tased, I was whipped, I was repeatedly hit in my face over and over again, and then I was just so numb to what was happening that I didn't even make a sound. She said she was blindfolded with duct tape and submerged underwater by her ankles for so long that her body started involuntarily thrashing. They made her dig a shallow hole in a patch of dirt with her bare hands and made her lie in it while they covered her face with dirt, giving her only a straw to breathe through. So that doesn't sound fun.
But, like, that's the thing. Like, she's like, oh, I want to do this. Like,
yeah, she wanted to do it. I mean, she was committed to the point where she got a fucking tattoo, so
is she, like, complaining about it after?
Well, so she said that the dirt was, like, getting in her throat, so she was coughing and saying, hey, I need water, and they would just splash water in her face. They wouldn't give her water, and it went on for, like, 20 or 30 minutes. So it sounds unconsensual at that point, to be honest. And then she said they started scraping at her tattoo with what felt like a file. Don't know what it was. She believed that they used the same tool to scratch at her throat, and that's when she broke.
So, is there some sort of safe word where you can like exit?
So, she said she repeated the safe phrase for several minutes before they finally stopped hurting her, so I guess yes. They sprayed her down with a pressure washer, duct tape still over her eyes, and then drove her back to the drop-off location. There's like a drop-off location. So, that happened. So, I guess she gave the safe word, but it still took some time before they relinquished.
And that's the line, right? Like, that's where it's like,
yeah,
that's fucked.
I mean, at least they did stop, but still it's kind of like, I mean, you should stop immediately.
Yeah.
I guess. But then it's also like, do people want to be like, yeah, I'll say stop, but keep going? Because that's kind of like a
yeah, but that's why, like,
thing.
you can say stop. But if you say, like,
the safe phrase, like octopus.
Like,
so before she was actually allowed to leave, she has to record an exit interview. Everybody has to record an exit video. Yeah. So this is fucked. I mean, this is in the article. This article was on McKamey Manor's website. So they sanctioned this article, so I'm assuming it's true. Here's her quote. Before Russ turned the camera on, he said to me, if I don't say good things about McKamey Manor and I start telling what actually happened, he's going to sue me for $50,000. I signed a waiver saying anything could happen. So Russ then forced me into saying all these great things like, oh my God, my tour was so amazing. It was exhilarating, which is what all the YouTube videos, that's what everyone was saying. This was amazing. This was crazy. Like, don't go, but I'm glad I did it. That's what they're all saying. But this woman's saying that they make you say that.
Well, my question hearing that would be, what did the waiver say in terms of that? if you agreed to only say good things after, like,
I think so. And that's why he said he could sue her for $50,000.
and technically he's right. And like that makes the whole thing sound super sketchy, because then it's
So
like, okay,
sketchy.
knowing that, I know I can't believe any of these exit interviews.
Yeah.
But if you signed a waiver and said that was okay,
You have to
why
do it.
Yeah, like you signed it.
Yeah. But still, I wouldn't want to lie. Like, I would want to be like, people don't fucking come here.
Sure, but then protest about that when you're signing the waiver.
Yeah, fair enough. So anyway,
in terms, like in legal terms, right?
yeah, that's true legally. Anyway, so she went to the hospital after this, and she had like a fucked up face. It was bruised. It was swollen. There's a large. Oh, this is gross. She had a large. Ready for it? She had a large bloody wound on her knee that was a surgery scar that opened up after the actors made her crawl on the ground. So, yeah.
Ew, a scar. Like surgery scars are like pretty tough.
The inside of her mouth was scratched up from the hitting and fish hooking,
Ooh.
where they take their 2 fingers and they put them inside your mouth and stretch your mouth open.
Ew.
So yeah, that all happened. And actually the hospital staff called the police, but then she like didn't want to press charges.
I guess, well, she signed a waiver.
Yeah.
What charges can you press if you agreed to all of it?
I mean, yeah. And
Minus the time between when she first said whatever the safe phrase was and the time that they let her go. That's
Right.
the only thing. If you signed a waiver and said, I agree to all this.
Yeah.
What do you, like, you did.
that's what he says. They asked Russ what he thinks. He said, well, McKamey Manor's always evolving, so no one really knows what they're going to get. Every haunt is more psychological than ever. He says, it doesn't mean you're not going to leave with some injuries, but you're signing up for extreme physicality.
Yeah, it sounds to me like you're signing up to be injured.
Yeah. It's just like, how much, really, right?
Yeah, well, but then that's why there's a safe word.
Right. Gotta have the safe word, I feel like. So there's more to the article, but that's most of it. However, what I thought was kind of interesting, it was saying how like no one's actually ever completed a full tour, the full 6 hours. And actually in this, it says a full stay can last up to 10 hours. But it says McKamey knows what will break people. So he said the average time spent is actually just 8 minutes.
That makes sense. I'm not at all shocked by
Yeah,
it.
I
would not last 8
5
minutes.
seconds.
After seeing some of those videos and like what they're doing to you,
The water torture and stuff.
and just being like submerged in the dirt or being buried alive, like that's fucked.
I know, it's insane.
How would you last? I don't know.
Yeah, and then the last thing in this article, Megan, the woman who wrote it, is like, here's the thing, there's no $20,000.
So is that offered to everyone?
I'm not sure. Apparently he was offering it at this time, like at the specific time that this article was written. It was like a known thing, but
Because that would
basically-
make more sense. Like that would be more of an incentive.
yeah, it's
to
an
do
incentive.
That.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're so tough, you can withstand it and you win a prize. But
Yeah, and
his
20 grand is like a decent amount of money.
amount. And his thing is that like no one's going to win the prize. No one can handle it because he knows exactly what's going to break you, which fair enough.
Well, especially if he's like, what's gonna break you?
Yeah, he is like, so what's the scariest thing? We'll do that then.
Yeah, then no wonder.
So just doing some more research on it, it seems like it changes a lot over time. And it's kind of hard to know what actually goes down because it almost seems like every tour is different and over time it's changed a lot. But there was all these points in the article of like, people are made to eat stuff. Doesn't really say what.
Ugh.
There's potential for tooth pulling, but does that really happen? Like, it's kind of hard to know. I thought it was funny that you pay in dog food. I like that. Some more points from the waiver. I found some points from the waiver online. Participant has been warned that you really don't want to do this. You know that you're not in danger. It's just a game. You agree that you're not actually going to be harmed. You will be roughed up, but no one's here to hurt you. You may leave with some bumps and bruises and a black eye,
But that doesn't add up because people are hurt way more than like a couple bruises.
yeah. The surgery scar and stuff. And she was in a neck brace, this woman. So
Okay.
Anyways, and then it's like, is there really a $20,000 prize? Anyway, so that was kind of like all in that article that I found.
Mm-hmm.
I did some digging as far as the history of McKamey Manor. I really wanted to research Russ, but I didn't find that much about him. I did find out that he was in the military, so same. And he loves dogs. He has a bunch of rescue dogs. Me too. So I feel like we're kind of like on the same page right now.
Yeah, you guys are probably twins.
Yeah, we're really cool. We're very similar. So, and he's really into filmmaking. He's a wedding DJ. He's
a wedding DJ?
He's a wedding DJ, yeah. He's got a lot of hobbies.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so I didn't find that much information on him. I mean, he has these videos of him talking, and I guess he does have charisma. Like, I could see that about him.
Charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent, you might say?
All of the above. I would say that. But yeah, so McKamey Manor did some research just specifically onto, like, the hotel itself. It started off at his house, so he was running it out of his house. There's a video from The Guardian from
that's
what you saw. Yeah, that's what you saw. So apparently back in the day in 2015, before the manor evolved and expanded to multiple locations, it was more of like a horror movie, more of like
a horror
jumping
movie
out
experience?
at you. Yeah, like stuff jumping out at you, scary stuff. And then now it's evolved into more psychological and mental torture. But so the Guardian video, if you guys want to check it out, we'll link it. But there's a whole little mini documentary profile that the Guardian did from 2015. And there's a voiceover from Russ saying, Russ is a good guy, which I thought was funny that he was saying that. About himself. And the video, it's really funny, or I don't know if funny is the right word for it, but the video will like intercut in between stuff from the event, which I will tell you about. But then it's also like packs of his rescue dogs getting treats, kids playing in the yard, like while this is happening, essentially.
That was the most weird thing about it, because in the Guardian video, they interview his kids.
Yeah.
And they know what's happening.
They're like, yeah.
They're like, our dad likes torturing people.
It's super fun. And then they don't say that. But yeah, it's weird. There's so many rescue dogs, which I love. But yeah, so, and then there's like cuts of him like torturing the participants, being like, get up now, get on the ground. Like, just like yelling at them. They're in water, they're tied up. Fake blood, I'm assuming fake blood. There's a scene where it looks like someone's tooth is being pulled out by pliers. I don't know if it's real, but it's in the Guardian video and it looks like it's happening. But because I read all this controversy, I'm like, is it real? I don't know. And then like the dogs, the kids, it's just very, very strange.
But yeah, I remember from that video, they did kind of make it out, like he is made out to seem like
I'm just a nice guy.
A good-hearted guy with like a weird interest.
Yes, like us.
Yeah, when like like exactly, like it's very relatable to like even this type of content that we're doing. It's like,
I'm just a horror fan, man.
Yeah.
I rescue my dogs. I do my wedding DJ. I have kids, but then I just like, so that.
I have to do some fucked up shit on the side. Which, right. I mean, for all I know right now, like, based on what I've heard so far, like that could be accurate.
I just keep hinting that there's more to it. But so there's like actors that he hires, and in that Guardian video, they're kind of like, haha, we don't know why we do this. Like, that's kind of the attitude they have. They say there's no safe word, 2015, I don't know. There's a video of a man vomiting with his hands tied above his head, and the actors being like, hold it in. So it's just like, it's fucked. And then, so that was like the original McKamey Manor haunted house. It was in his house. Dogs were running around, kids were running around, and this shit was happening. However, because he was filming videos of every single thing that happened, he was streaming them on Facebook, he started to gain this like international following. Mm-hmm. So that's how he was able to expand.
So he started getting a little bit famous.
He started getting famous, getting well known. And yeah, as far as that video goes, he was basically saying like, I did this to give the people what they want. Like, he said, I'm scared of things too. I've designed this around my fears. I'm just here to entertain you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What do you think so far?
I think that is a little like God complexy.
Yeah.
Which like makes sense.
That.
I'm so far, it sounds like a pretty fucked up thing. It sounds like people are going of their own free will and know what they're getting into, and like, okay, fine.
Yep.
I'm curious about how far he's taken this and like how many people have complained after.
Yes.
I'm curious as to like who these people are who are doing it.
Right. I know. That's the thing. Like, the guy in the article who driven 11 hours to be there, he's just like, yo, I'm just here for the thrill. But
And I want to know, like,
there's a lot of ways to get thrills.
Who has made it the furthest and, like, what specifically happened to them?
Seems like the woman who, I forget her name, but the woman who was, like, had her surgery scar open up, seems like she was there for a while.
Yeah.
A couple of hours, probably. But yeah, so let me tell you about some of the controversy I read about this place.
Please
or
do
researched
tell.
about this place. There's a lot about the manor, like the consensual aspect, which I'll get into, but also about Russ himself. And to be honest, it's pretty much all alleged. It's people who are out to expose him. It seems like he has a lot of that conflict with people, and he's kind of like doing exposed videos, and other people are doing them about him. So everything's all alleged. I genuinely don't know what's true and what's not. But I did do quite a deep dive onto Reddit to find some more information. His YouTube channel, which we skimmed a little bit, and then this other girl who went to it did like a 2-hour exposed video that I watched. But I compiled a few different survivors' experience. They call them We Survived.
Yeah.
So let me read you this one girl's experience. So this was back in San Diego still. Amy Milligan, she said that the experience was more than just a game. She experienced injuries beyond just cuts and bruises. She was waterboarded. When she said she couldn't breathe, they laughed and continued to waterboard her, which sounds really fucking bad. So despite the traumatic experience, she had spoke highly of the tour during her exit interview, saying, I know I wasn't tortured, it was just a game. However, she claims that the reason she left a positive review was that McKamey would actually upload that footage, and she wanted to use the footage of her tour there as evidence that she was actually abused. So apparently then McKamey cut out the portion of her tour on the video where she was like stressed out, and the most distressing parts, he had cut those videos out. So then in the interview, like exit interview, she's like, oh, this was great. It was really good. And that's just what was published. But she said that she was begging him to go home and that she didn't want to continue the tour. She's like, I can't do it. I need to go home. Let me out. And they said, you're not done. They shoved my head back under the water, and I was like, they're not going to let me out. I'm going to die here. Which she didn't, obviously, but that was her like quote in the article. So that.
So I guess the whole crux of it is, did she use a safe word and they didn't listen?
It sounds like that, yeah.
So she's saying, okay.
It sounds like she said a safe word and they didn't listen. So
that's fucked if that happened.
Yeah, it's insane. I honestly think, like, I mean, I guess if they sign up for it, she's
saying, like, I said help, or I said whatever,
and they didn't.
But is it a safe word?
Right.
Because there's a huge difference, because I would assume, especially, like, since they're filming this, and in the waiver, I would guess, it's 40 pages, whoops, I would guess that in the waiver, they say, like, there's a specific safe word. If you say help, if you say I want to come out, if you want to say this and that, that doesn't mean anything, especially because we're filming it with an intent to make a film. Right. But so you have to say this specific thing. So the question here, as my prosecutor hat on,
yes,
did you use a safe word or did you not?
Right. So everything I read is very back and forth. Like, from what I've read, a few people said that they said the safe word, there was a safe word, and after a few minutes of continued torture, then they let them out. Other people have said there was no safe word when I went. So I think it's like every tour he does different stuff. Like, some they don't have the option. So, okay, so there's this girl who did a 2-hour exposed video, Creepy Gabs XO on Reddit, shout out. And in her thing, she said that, in her video, she said that you had 2 options. Like, there was 2 chances where they said you could leave now, but if you don't leave now, we're not letting you out other than these 2 times. So it wasn't like a safe word situation. It was like, here are your times to opt out.
And it's like, is that at the 1 hour mark? Is that at the 30-minute mark? And then you have to stay for 5 more hours? Like, that's fucked.
I know.
But if you agree to that going in, then you agree to that going in.
Yeah, exactly. So here's what this is what she wrote on Reddit. Because it's a 2-hour video. It's a 2-parter. 2 1-part videos. 2 1-hour videos. Feel free to watch it if you're interested. I did watch them. They're interesting. Yeah. But she wrote this post on Reddit, so I'll just read that. So she says, basically the wait list is bullshit, because apparently there was like a huge fucking wait list, but it's bullshit. She said, I went through the haunt a couple days after I found out about it. I messaged Russ on Facebook, and he told me that if I wanted to go, I had to get back to him ASAP. So she had seen videos from 2012, and I'm assuming this was like a few years later. But Russ had messaged her saying, since those videos, he wants to up his game now. And he said that I'm going to be his test subject for the new haunt. So they...
Probably under the guise of like squeezing her in.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'll get you in. There's a cancellation kind of thing. And he said that he's going to have people in Vegas watching them live, and they're going to be able to pay to have things happen to them, which that is fucking weird.
Ooh, very a la Rat Race.
I don't know.
Remember that movie?
No. That sounds like a good movie, though.
You remember, Aidan? You know that movie.
Is that something where people pay for stuff to happen?
It was a comedy movie. It was very like 90s comedy where they were like set on this race, but like people were like betting on who was going to win, and like
it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Kind of. So
with Mr. Bean, whatever that guy's name is.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now. Okay, yeah. So she said that she was expecting like a haunted house, but they made them meet, like, not Russ, but some actors at a park, and then from the park they like put them in the back of a van, and then the tour started, and I was basically just beat up for 6 hours. I was pushed around, tied up, waterboarded, my hair was cut, they put a spider on my face, they put stuff in my mouth, a lot of drowning and simulation water torture stuff. They made us eat stuff. Everyone keeps saying stuff. What did they make you eat?
Yeah, specifically, what are we talking about?
We need to know what was the stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. And then
but she's claiming she made it 6 hours?
She said 6 hours, yes. She said that, like, in her video, which was 2 hours long, she said that there was, like, 2 options to leave, but they chose not to leave at those times. So then I guess they stayed for the whole thing. So she said we couldn't end the tour when we wanted to give up. Russ just said it was too late. It's too late.
Is he allowed to do that legally?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if the waiver has loopholes. Yeah. Also, the waiver, like, apparently there's like a waiver online, but it's not the actual waiver, so we don't really know what's in it other than what was in the article. But it takes 6 hours to go through, so it's extensive. And so she said that the tours after hers got way worse because after they had streamed it on Facebook, all this stuff, there was like this cult mindset around it where people were saying, oh, I can beat the manor, which allowed Russ to get closer to the line.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Here's kind of a fucked up part of what she said. I mean, obviously this girl didn't have a good experience there, so take it with a grain of salt. But she said, this isn't something that Russ does because he likes horror. This is something that Russ does to have control, and you can tell by the energy and the look on his face. His gross, satisfied smile when I was having a panic attack is forever ingrained in my brain.
Oh, it's so tough because it's difficult to feel bad for people when they like...
Yeah, you signed up for this.
When they like what's the past tense of seek? They sought it out. You know? I
know. But it's weird because she says, I was manipulated by Russ. I was involved with his family. I was an admin for the page that was doing reservations. I was helping run his YouTube.
He was like working for him.
I know. I was working for him for free because Russ has created a little cult and McKamey Manor has become its own world. So it kind of seems like, okay, so, you know, she reached out and then he was like, you better come quick, and kind of like he made her like, you have to come right now, which is a manipulation tactic if that's true.
Yeah, it gives you less chance of like to...
Yeah, this is your only chance.
To think about it.
So, I don't know. I don't know about any of that. I don't know what's true. I don't know what's not. But I just thought it was creepy that she said had a satisfied smile.
So then question. So she reaches out to him. He's like, oh, you can get in right now. She does it, has a terrible experience, and then works for him?
No, she was working for him. Oh, yeah, that's true. I think I don't know, actually.
That's just like, there's a...
Yeah, that is weird.
There might be some holes in her story. I'm interested to go through the whole thing.
I mean, in the video, I was telling you this before, but she had like screenshots of her text with him, but it didn't really give that much away. So it's hard to know what's true because it seems like the same story is repeated over and over. I was manipulated. I was made to say that I love this when I didn't. It was more than what I expected it to be. It was like more, it wasn't a game like I thought it would be. I was tortured. I mean, I don't know. It's all alleged.
Yeah, it's all alleged. I find it hard to sympathize with people who like go into something essentially knowing what it is.
Right.
And then like the thing about the internet is like anybody can say anything.
Yes. I will say on Reddit, they have this little tag for people and it's called verified survivor. So I guess they have like, I mean, obviously I don't know Reddit, like I don't know if it's true, but they have like specific people where they said they did actually go.
But it's not even that. It's like people can go on the internet and say whatever they want. And I think there's a lot of people who are like, you know, you have a responsibility to your audience to do this and to do that and whatever. And yeah, sure, in a perfect world they would, but like at the end of the day, that's not what people are going to do. So like everything on the internet, it's like it's up to you to research what you're getting into. It's like you signed a 40-page waiver.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, is he going against what's in the waiver?
Right. I don't think so. I think the waiver literally lists every bad thing that could possibly happen. And
then on top of that, you can have whatever waiver you want, but if the laws in the state say that you can't, the consent happens in a specific way, and like even if it was that said a certain way in the waiver, but that's not how the law works, then that's another thing too.
Is that something where like even if there's not technically a safe word, but you're like, all right, never mind, I withdraw consent, they have to stop, right? Is that how that works?
I have no idea. If there's any lawyers in the audience, anybody who knows the answer to that question,
well,
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, true. I'd be interested to hear. But yeah, that's like, it's funny because Russ has all these videos on his YouTube basically being like, these people are haters, fuck them. But these people do hate him. And like, there's a lot of specific things, like this girl says, you know, it's pretty bad, but there's also a lot of crazy rumors. I wouldn't say that I'm traumatized, but this is not an extreme haunt. This is a power object for him.
But I would have to suppose that part of this whole thing, like part of how this manor thrives is based on controversy. So to him, like I'm sure there's lots of like haters and like people making videos about him, but it's like at the end of the day,
he signed up for it.
He must want these. Like this only survives based on like hearsay or like not hearsay, but like people talking about it, and like it's a controversial idea. Like,
that's true.
You know,
there's so much like potential backlash against Russ Mckamey. He had like these 2 ex-wives that were like talking shit about him on podcasts. His one ex-wife claimed that he made her crawl through this like little like chicken cage, like this little like maze, while he sprayed her with water. And the video's on YouTube. I did watch it. But he said it was consensual, and then she was claiming it wasn't. But it kind of seems like with a lot of things, like people are claiming that after. So it's kind of hard to know, were you consenting at the time and you're just now saying, fuck this guy? Or was it never consensual to begin with?
And I'm sure that like the answers to that we'll probably never even know, right? Like,
it's hard to know.
It's nearly impossible.
But yeah, it's hard to know what really goes down because like for sure we know people are waterboarded, people are tortured, people have fairly decent injuries. It seems like back in the day things were jumping out at you, but now it's more just like you're being humiliated and tortured for however long you can handle it. And yeah. Oh, one more controversy I'd seen. Apparently, this is like, I'm pretty sure this was debunked, but apparently like this maybe it is true because the girl said this, but he was like streaming the videos and letting people pick what happens to them, which is kind of fucked up. I feel like those people are fucked.
That is so fucked up.
Yeah,
that
those
is such
people,
a fucked up thing to do.
Right.
But if they agreed to it, they agreed to it.
Yeah, I guess they agreed to it. They said everything can be filmed. But yeah, so that's most of what I found. I was trying to research more of the legal aspects, but it seems like it's such a gray area with the waiver. And the waiver that's online apparently isn't the true waiver. Apparently that's like just somebody put it up there to kind of like stir up controversy, I guess. That's where it's like you really don't know what goes down. Apparently there's not really a wait list, but it seems like there's a ton of fans at the same time.
Yeah, I remember the Guardian video, I'm pretty sure, made it seem like there was a
huge wait list. Yeah. In the Guardian video, it said it was like 20,000 people wait list. It was a massive number, which I don't know. And then there's...
Please.
Yeah, that seems like a lot. And then there's so many petitions against it. There was this Facebook group, which I tried to get into and they didn't accept me, called McKamey Manor Exposed. But I couldn't get into it. Also, apparently, like, Russ was, like, using his ex-wife's money to run it. I don't know. Like, I have no idea. Obviously, if they're ex-wife, they're gonna like probably talk shit about him. But
Yeah. Do we know why they got divorced?
No, I don't know. I just know that they were talking a whole lot of crap about him, which those interviews are out there. I did listen, and I did watch the video of the alleged torture. But yeah, so right now, also, I was trying to figure out, is this still running because of COVID? Like, and I cannot find information online if it's still running or not. Everything, the most updated stuff, content I've seen officially from the McKamey Manor website ended a year ago. That was the most recent, beginning of 2020, so over a year ago. And everything on Reddit too is mostly older. Like there are some new posts, but nobody seems to have been recently. So
I would assume,
but
know. Like who knows? The type of person who would open something like this doesn't sound like the type of person who would give a shit about COVID.
They're like doing it with masks on. Like everyone has to wear a mask. So that's McKamey Manor. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like I don't really know what's going on with it.
Yeah, it doesn't scare me because like there's like nobody can make me go.
Right.
So like I agree with like your 1 out of 10 rating.
Yeah.
In that sense.
It's just a light episode for your Halloween, everybody.
Yeah, just a light little bonus. It is very like Halloween themed. It's basically a Halloween haunt type thing.
But just gone very, very sideways.
Yeah, I mean I guess there's like I'm really interested to watch a lot of the videos. I want to watch like the survivors tell their stories or whatever. It is super freaky and eerie, but I do want to watch some of the torture stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's the way it's cut together is very movie-esque, and it's hard to tell what's going on because it'll be like 3 seconds and like a quick shot. Is that a spider on her face? And then it's like another quick shot. Is a tooth being pulled? You know, so.
I don't know if I'd want to watch teeth being pulled.
Yeah, it doesn't really show it. It's hard to tell. That's the thing. It's like it's hard to know what really happens. And apparently, as it evolves, he's going more into the psychological stuff, where he's just like finding out what your biggest fears are, I guess, and exploiting them. But
yeah, I'd be interested to hear some of like. I don't really care to listen to the 40-page waiver, but I'd be interested to hear like the interviews he does with them beforehand.
Yeah, they're interesting. I mean, he's very theatrical. Like all his content is very like. Intense.
See, in some ways, okay. And then here's my other question: is like the staff and like everybody who works there,
actors.
Like, what is the environment there like?
Yeah,
because it seems like kind of culty. Like
it. Yeah.
What are the people who work there like? Why do they work there? Do they like working there?
Apparently, it's a lot of people who had been to it before, and then like they couldn't stay away, so they were drawn in. And I mean, in the Guardian video, they're like, well, we didn't want to come, but now we're here. Haha. Like, why are we doing this? Like, that's kind of their whole thing is like, you really don't want to do this, but we all do it.
Well, because my mind mostly based on like the content that I watch and what is out there, whatever, my mind goes toward like, it's a kind of culty environment. And like, how does he treat the people who work there is my question. What are the type of, like, he gives me very like Doc Antle vibes. Is that
Still
his
don't
name?
know who that is.
Doc Antle? That's him. You didn't watch Tiger
King,
but
I can't get this reference.
Literally everybody else did.
Yeah.
So audience, you will probably get the reference. But he was in Tiger King, and basically he like runs a tiger. It's not really a sanctuary. That would not be the right word for it. But like
a zoo.
Yeah, basically a zoo. But like all his employees are like hot girls. And like, they come for like the baby tigers.
Classic.
And then he just like has sex with them all and is like literally the world's creepiest man on earth.
Oh. I don't think this guy's like that. Like I don't think he literally says in his waiver he's not having sex with anyone, but it does seem like it's all a lot younger people that go. It seems like it's mostly younger people.
Well, yeah, because like with Doc Antle, it's like it's not like he's having sex with the people who like come to see the tigers, but he's hiring people and letting them hang out with tigers and enticing them to like have sex
that is
with
convincing though. You get to hang out with tigers.
Baby tigers.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you see the horrors of like how they live and it's like horrific.
Oh, that's fucked. I'm not watching that. I don't like animal
torture
stuff. Yeah, you
probably wouldn't like it.
But yeah, so McKamey Manor. I'm not going to go. I mean, if it's still even around.
Audience. We don't know.
Are you going to go?
We don't know how many people are in the audience at this point, but audience, have you ever been there?
Yeah, if anyone's been there, please tell us. We must know.
Anybody who's been there, please let us know. We will invite you on the podcast.
Yes.
Maybe.
We will interview you. If you're verified.
And if we like feel like it.
Yeah. We might be busy that day.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But like that would be fucking cool.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this special Halloween bonus episode.
Please tell us what you thought about this. This was a kind of a different episode for us, and that's why it's bonus content.
Yeah, just some light,
for the end of
torture.
the Halloween season.
Yep. Happy Halloween. Do something creepy for us.
Please.
Not
and,
McKamey Manor creepy, but just like a little.
Yeah, and like tell us what you think, and I'm so interested to hear if anybody knows anything more about this place, and if you've ever been, if you want to go. If you want to go, why? Why do you want to go?
Yeah.
What the hell?
We need to get inside your mind. Why?
So curious.
Maybe you're just really bored. I don't know. So that's the episode.
Yeah, that's it. Please reach out on Instagram at Who's Knocking Podcast. Send us an email. hello@whosknockingpodcast. hello@whosknockingpodcast@gmail. No. Hello.
What's our email?
Hello.
hello@whosknockingpodcast.
hello@whosknockingpodcast.com. Yeah, it's not Gmail.
Took a while. We got there.
Got it. Sorry, it's so long, but it's good.
Yeah.
Tell us what you want to see. Tell us how your Halloween was. Tell us how much you hate our podcast. If you
Madison,
don't, but if you do, fine. Open to constructive criticism. And just remember, you never know who's knocking. Woo! This podcast is produced in collaboration with Lost Line Media. Artwork by August Digital. Music by Matthew Cook.